police had some good evidence, and they could have arrested Dalia after she forked over $1,200 in a picture of Mike to Mohammed Shihadeh, her ex-boyfriend turned confidential informant. They also could have hauled her in after she met with Whitey Jean, the undercover cop posing as a hitman. But the police wanted more. So they set up a staged crime scene, complete with a crew from the TV show Cops, where Dalia would be led to believe that Mike had been murdered. Everything was in place. All they needed now was for Dalia to follow through with the plan.
Okay, you got a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tomorrow morning. All right, make sure you're out by 6.
Okay.
The morning that the hit is to happen, Dalia gets up in an unusual way and goes to the gym by herself. What was unusual is that she took a very expensive Prada purse that Mike had given her and all of the jewelry that she owned. After she went to the gym, what happened on that day?
10 minutes after she had left, and I hear a loud banging on the door. And I'm on the 3rd floor, and I hear this.
Police department, open your door.
So I go downstairs. I open the door, and it was fast. It was, are you Michael Dippolito? And I kind of was in the doorway moving around because I didn't know if they were going to grab me or what was going to happen. And I obviously looked like I was in shock or something.
He didn't understand why all these lights and cameras were in the front door. He was confused and shocked and didn't believe what we were telling him at first.
You need to come with me to the police station. Your wife has hired a person to kill you.
And he goes, yeah, he was shocked. He stepped back and he fell back on the steps and sat down.
To this day, I believe that the Boynton Beach Police Department, in conjunction with the Cops television show, entrapped Dalia Dippolito to create not only publicity for the Boynton Beach Police Department, but good television for the Cops show.
Did there come a time where Cops then became involved in this case?
Yes.
Why didn't you arrest her at the moment that she got out of the car with the undercover officer?
We still wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt and see if she was going to continue with it and to see her reaction.
Sorry, I just missed your call. Please leave me your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll return your call as soon as I can.
Hi, this message is from Miss Dippolito. This is Sergeant Frank Ramsey, Boynton Beach Police Department Detective Division. I need you to call me as soon as you can, ma'am. It's urgent. Thank you. Is this Miss Dippolito?
Yeah.
No, ma'am, I need to talk to you. It's very urgent when you come home. It involves your husband. There's been an incident.
You okay?
Ma'am, I'll tell you everything you need to know when you get here, okay?
Okay.
Miss Dippolito? Dr.
How did the defendant react to the news?
She burst out into a very audible, wailing type sound, like a crying sound.
Did you see any tears?
No, I did not.
When you spoke with Miss Dippolito and you tell her what happened, isn't it true that she almost starts crying before you say the word killed?
The audible sounds, yes.
Yes. It's almost like she was waiting to hear the word killed, isn't it?
That was my assumption, yes.
The Boynton Beach police detectives escort her to their car and they bring her back to the police station. Then in the car, as she's very quiet, you can kind of see her planting the seed with the detectives.
What does the black guy look like?
It was dark. You don't have a lot of description.
There's been a lot of black people that have been coming into the neighborhood, and my husband's on probation, and he owed a lot of people money.
To this day, I still believe that Dalia Dippolito had a loud bark, but no bite. But for, in my opinion, Dalia being entrapped by the Boynton Beach Police Department, but for the confidential informant going out and finding an alleged hitman, this would have never gone down.
You said that you believed some of the things she said and not all of the things she said.
No,
I'm saying I cannot verify everything that she had told me. You're saying if everything that came out of her mouth is a lie, I cannot make that statement.
I didn't say that. I said, what did you think of what she said?
My personal opinion?
Yes.
I think she was putting on a show.
How did you feel when you heard the recording?
I mean, I'm there, I believe it, but I don't believe it. I don't know, I just felt like I just couldn't believe, you know, what was happening.
Once we showed him and showed him some photos and let him listen to some audio in reference to his wife, you know, planning to kill him, he was still in shock. He didn't believe it.
It didn't feel good watching it, as in, it didn't feel like, you know, I'm not getting any satisfaction out of this whole thing, is what I'm saying. And I felt bad for her. It sucked. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Why did you feel bad for her?
How could somebody be that stupid?
What the f***? You said you wanted to have me killed. I heard that. It's not true. That is not. How is it not true?
Sure you want to kill this dude?
Could we really have to? I'd rather be as less, you know, whatever with you. How soon could you do it?
I could do it Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning at the house, you know, he gets to it ahead. We're just going to be asking you questions. I don't know how well you have the pressure.
I'm a lot tougher than what I was.
It's done by Wednesday. The only thing you're going to hear from me is to correct, all right? You're not going to have an option to change your mind.
There's no changing. I'm positive, like 5,000% sure.
In October 2008, Mike Dippolito decided to cheat on his wife and found an escort service online. The woman he summoned to his office that day was Dalia Mohammed. And as it turned out, this would be no one-night stand. No, Mike fell deeply in love with Dalia, so much so he divorced his wife Maria, and just 4 months after their steamy first encounter, Mike and Dalia themselves got married. But the honeymoon phase would be a short one, because just after they wed, Dalia Dippolito reached out to an ex-lover to ask for help in finding a hitman to kill her new husband.
Mike Dippolito was a very simple man. He had a drug addiction for many years. He liked women, he liked money, he liked fast cars. He had gotten himself into trouble with his drug addiction and his love for money. And he served some time in prison for a scheme to defraud people. During the time that he met Dalia, he was trying to climb out of that bad place that he had been for so many years.
Dalia Dippolito is a manipulator. She's a liar. I think she believes her own lies. She's used to getting her way because most people don't call her out for her lies. And she's able to weasel into situations and get out unscathed, but not this time, because this time she overplayed her hand.
Hey, what's up?
Honestly, you work seriously you kill over that much money?
It's not even over the get it? Like, it's not even about the
After he killed whatever, his mom, all of them, are not gonna like get suspicious of you or anything like
Why
that.
me? Like, do you know what
Didn't
killing
you say
somebody
that?
is? Yeah, but killing somebody, come on. You know, nobody's gonna be able to point a finger at me.
We received information from an informant that he knew a young lady that wanted her husband killed.
This guy, this is all he does. If you him over, he'll come after you.
How the would I him over $3,500?
I'm just telling you, that's how he is.
I know,
He's
but
a dirty guy.
Dahlia was arrested for solicitation to commit murder.
What happened is that Dalia enticed one of her many men that she had a sexual relationship with in her life to get her in touch or to put her in touch with a hitman.
Remain seated. Court is in session.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It looks as though we are ready to proceed All right, with that, we'll go to opening statements. Ms. Parker.
I know what you're thinking. What a cute little girl. But I'm not. I'm a lot tougher than I look. That's what the defendant, Dalia Dippolito, said to the undercover officer from the Boynton Beach Police Department on August 3rd of 2009. He asked her, "Are you sure you want to kill him?" "I'm positive, I'm 5,000% sure. When I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it." After you hear all of the evidence, the state will have proven to you the defendant committed this crime beyond a reasonable doubt. When she says she's gonna do something, she's gonna do it.
Well, I knew this was going to be a high-profile case because it had all the elements of a thriller. You've got greed, you've got sex, you've got betrayal, and it is something that was made for TV. And in fact, that's what she counted on in her defense.
The evidence will show that the plot for the contract killing of Mike Dippolito was never real. It was a hoax. Mike Dippolito hoped to capture the attention of someone in reality TV. The TV show Cops was coincidentally in South Florida to ride with the Boynton Beach Police Department during the week that Miss Dippolito was arrested. A 33-year veteran of the Boynton Beach Police Department who supervised this investigation became so focused on cooperating with the production of the show Cops that even his good judgment was set aside.
We'll go out to the house and get the husband, tell him why we're there and why he has to come with us.
Just to know the lay of the land here in Palm Beach County, Michael Salnick is one of the best defense attorneys in the county. If you don't want to go to jail, you're calling him.
The evidence will show that for many, reality TV shows depict the worst of our society. For others, reality TV has become a way to launch a center stage career.
When he took this case on and you saw the evidence, you wondered what the defense was going to be. And when that defense came out, everybody kind of took a second thought, took a pause and just like, wow, that's what they're going with.
Mike Dippolito's hoax to orchestrate his own murder was a bad prank. But what was clear from the evidence was never anyone's intention to harm anyone.
She saw someone that she could manipulate. She saw someone as an easy target that she could con into believing that she loved him and that she could take his money, take his house, and knowing he was on probation at the time that she met him, she could easily, in her opinion, get him locked up, get his probation violated, and he'd be out of her life for a very long time.
When he's not at work, then, he gets to it ahead.
That was the first time I actually got to meet with someone who intended on killing another person.
You might actually need a roadmap to follow this case. Mike hires Dalia from an online escort site. He falls in love, divorces his first wife, and marries Dalia. But Dalia's not thinking long-term, at least not with Mike. She meets up with a police officer and tells him that Mike is abusive and possesses illegal drugs. She even offers to pay the officer to have Mike arrested, but the officer declines. So Dalia moves on to an ex-boyfriend named Mohammed Shihadeh, and she asks him if he'd help her find a hitman. Now, she'd floated this idea before, but this time he was worried she actually meant it. So Shihadeh went right to the police.
Now, when Mohammed came to meet you at the police department on August 1st of 2009, can you describe his attitude to the jury?
He was nervous. He didn't want the defendant, who was Mr. Dippolito, to know that he was the one that contacted the police with this information. But his main concern was that, somebody was going to get killed.
What we ended up finding out from the informant, Mohammed, was that he was dating her for a while. They were friends, and he was asked to find somebody to kill her husband.
After he killed his mom, all of them, I'm not gonna get suspicious of you or anything like
Why
that.
me? Do you know what
Didn't you
killing
say
somebody
that?
is? Yeah, but killing somebody, come on. You know, nobody's gonna be able to point a finger at me.
And at one point, while they were sitting in his car, she ended up reaching for his gun that was in the glove box. And at that point, he decided to come forward and tell the police because he was afraid that he was going to get implemented in the murder.
Did you or anyone else force her into this plan to hire a hitman?
No.
Did you ever tell her not to go through with her plan?
Yes.
Blood, you're getting your life straight after this, seriously?
You know what? You are getting your together too.
That's what I've been trying to do, y'all.
Mohammed was not a known CI to law enforcement. The night that he came in, that Friday night that he came to the Boynton Beach Police Department, he was trying to save Mike Dippolito's life.
Were you ever told that you could be involved if you didn't continue to do what you were doing?
Yes.
Who threatened you with criminal prosecution?
No one directly.
As your confidential informant, did you ever tell Mohammed that he would be arrested?
No.
What, if anything, did you tell him about his involvement in this case?
I said, hey, you know, you should be glad that you got us involved in this because this young lady could have dragged you in and connected you to this murder if we weren't involved.
Are you saying that he could have been arrested too?
He was assisting her in getting a hitman, yes.
During the investigation with Mr. Shihada, did you ever have information that Mr. Shihada didn't want to participate anymore, that he was backing out?
No.
Was there ever any time that you argued with him?
No.
You never threatened him?
No.
Did you cooperate with the Boynton Beach Police Department?
Yes.
Mr. Shihada, are you making this whole thing up in an effort to have the defendant prosecuted?
No.
What did you think of what Mohammed Shihada told you on that night?
I thought it was credible information that warranted an immediate investigation. You know, now we have a person who is indeed making statements that I could clearly understand to be those that want her husband killed.
Who the hell told you never to get married?
Yeah, happens.
I ended up in the same boat as you. You're right, we are a lot alike.
God forgive me. All right.
See you later, thank you.
Law enforcement had to work extremely quickly because they needed to make sure that she didn't hire an actual hitman that would murder Mike.
Now, was Mohammed Shihada equipped with a wire on his person during this meeting?
No, he was not.
Why not?
When we went to do that, he requested that we not do that.
Why specifically did he request not to?
He said that when the defendant would get in the vehicle with him, oftentimes she would immediately begin oral sex, and he didn't want her to find the wire.
When he said that, did he say it with humor, do you recall?
I believe he was very nervous at the time.
Okay, well, he was nervous about having oral sex or nervous about having the wire on him?
Nervous about being involved with the police in a tense situation.
So Dalia ends up, through her friend Mohammed, giving him money to pay the hitman to kill Mike Dippolito. Does the defendant show Mohammed pictures during their interaction in the vehicle?
Yes.
And what are the pictures of?
Here, he's here. Wait, is this a good picture or no?
And one picture is of the victim, Mike Dippolito, and also a picture in front of their apartment.
Really? You're gonna give him something with my fingerprints all over? Hello?
Hey, can you talk?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna need 3,000. All right, I'm gonna need the key to your house. You heard me?
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm gonna be there in about an hour.
They reached out to my bosses, said, hey, we need an undercover agent from you to pose as a hitman because they're investigating a murder for hire case.
She met with the undercover officer posing as a hitman in the CVS parking lot in Boynton Beach.
When I first got my eyes on Dalia and she got out of the car, and just watching her, I still didn't believe it. There's no way that this young girl wants her husband killed until she actually got into the car and we got to listen to her. And we're like, oh man, she's real.
And when she gets in the car, what is the first thing that you say to her?
I complimented her on her looks to make it comfortable for us to talk.
Hey, we're staying in here, right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was sick.
Yeah.
In the beginning, did you ever ask her specifically if she wanted to have her husband killed?
Yes, I did.
And how did she answer?
She said, well, I wouldn't say it like that.
I know I got a picture of the house. You know, I know y'all got an alarm system.
We have alarm motion detectors on the camera.
Once she was comfortable, once I felt that she was comfortable, then that's when we decided to just go ahead and start discussing some of the details of the case.
How soon could you do it?
I could do it Wednesday morning. There's been a lot of burglaries in this area. Okay? It's gonna be like I break into the house. You know, didn't think I was gonna be home because everybody works in the daytime.
Right.
When he's not at work, then, you know, it gets to the head.
I gave her, you know, multiple opportunities to change her mind or get out of it. And I asked her if she was sure about that because I told her I've dealt with people who weren't sure and changed their mind.
I'm a lot tougher than what I look. I know you think you're like, oh, what a cute little girl, whatever. You know, but I'm not.
You are. You're beautiful.
Thank you, but you know, I just think to make sure everything's going to take care of.
One of the things that I did, as we all learn in different training that we attend for undercover operations, is you always try to give someone an opportunity to get out of whatever they're doing, you know, just to avoid them saying that they're being entrapped.
It's done that Wednesday. The only thing you're gonna hear from me is to collect, all right? Not to have an option to change your mind.
There's no changing, there's no, like, I'm determined already. I'm positive, like, 5,000% sure. When I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
You talked about a number of times on the video that she seems to be looking around.
Yes.
She's looking in the direction of the camera, isn't that true?
I can't tell you because there's no way she could have known the camera was in there.
You're here.
I'll hear from you.
All right?
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay.
That was the first time I actually got to meet with someone who intended on killing another person. And not only they wanted to do that, they wanted to hire someone else to do it.
Okay, you got a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tomorrow morning. All right, make sure you're out by 6.
Mike Dippolito was no choir boy. He'd been convicted of wire fraud, served 2 years in prison, got 28 years probation, and was slapped with a court order to pay his victims $191,000. But after Mike and Dalia were married, curious things started to happen. The police showed up at several locations with anonymous tips about drugs in Mike's car. Then a domestic complaint was called in. Then a threatening note was left on his windshield. Mike had no idea what was going on, thought all of it was strange, especially since he had a clean record since being released on probation. But Mike had no idea just how strange things were about to get.
State ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would call Michael Dippolito to the stand.
She was lured in by Mike Dippolito, handsome guy, well-built, charming, and she fell hard for Mike Dippolito. Remember, it wasn't until after Dalia was married to Mike that she first finds out that Mike Dippolito had a prior felony conviction for committing fraud against elderly folks in a Ponzi scheme.
They met because she was a professional escort, and then they had that very quick marriage. You know, Michael came across very credible to the jury because juries want to see the victim in the flesh.
How would you describe your marriage up until the time that the defendant was arrested on August 5th of 2009?
I thought we had a good marriage. We had some issues, you know, but, you know, I was in love with my wife. I wanted a future with her.
Now, did her arrest come as a shock?
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
She doesn't strike you as this evil person, you know, kind of has a soft appearance. And when, you know, you think about what a cold, callous killer would look like, it wouldn't be Dalia Dippolito.
January 28th, you get divorced, right?
Yes.
And January 28th is also the day that you get your marriage license. Is that right?
I think we applied for it, yes.
And you say that you talked to your new wife and you wanted to get off probation.
We had discussions, yes.
You also told us yesterday that you had an addiction problem, correct?
Yes.
And you said, I think the description you used was a horrific addiction. Is that right?
Yes.
You had to lie to get treatment?
Years ago, yes.
And when you did that, you had to actually say you were going to kill yourself. Is that right?
Yes.
And that automatically got you into a program and paid for it. Is that right?
Yes.
So at that time, you lied to get what you wanted. Is that right?
Yes.
I knew that if I could keep him on the stand long enough, the jury would like him. My strategy was put it all out there, Mike. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Defense would call Random Mohammed. What was your relationship with your daughter like?
Before or after?
Well, let's talk first before.
It was one of the greatest one. Me and my daughter always went out, spent a lot of time. We did a lot of things together.
What about after your daughter met Mike Dippolito?
Big change. My daughter wasn't the same. She was always with him. I wasn't able to spend no more time alone with her.
What did you think your relationship was like with the defendant's family?
I thought it was pretty good. We'd go over there a couple times a week. We'd hang out with the mom. We'd do things together, shop together a little. I thought I had fun with her mother. You know, her mother seemed like a fun person.
During the time that he met Dalia, he was trying to climb out of that bad place that he had been for so many years. Has Mr. Dippolito ever violated his probation in any way?
Not as me as a supervising officer, and I can't see any indication in his file where any prior officers had any violations.
Are you aware that Mr. Dippolito lied to you?
No, I wasn't.
Were you aware that Mr. Dippolito had another job besides the one he listed on his written monthly reports?
No, I did not.
And would you expect Mr. Dippolito to list his truthful and monthly employment?
I would expect him to do a complete written monthly report.
Don't you have an incentive to pay those victims whether you're off probation or not?
Yes.
So when you said the incentive is not there if I'm off probation, what are you talking about then?
Well, I'm 9 years in on a sentence, so maybe my outlook is a little off at sometimes, but I do want my life back, so one way I'm gonna pay these people back.
You want your life back and they want their money back, right?
Absolutely.
I think Mike Dippolito was the most compelling witness in the entire case. The jury connected with him, they felt sorry for him, and they believed him. And they cared about what happened to him.
Did you do that on probation? Were you on probation? Did you do that on probation? Were you on probation? You're like a parrot.
A parrot?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I've been called a lot of things. What's a parrot?
You know, come on.
Is there anything funny about this proceeding at all, Mr. Dippolito?
The questions you're asking me, some of them, yeah.
You don't like them, do you?
It's ridiculous. We're not here because of me.
When you were placed on probation,
again,
you are presumptively telling the truth, right?
Yes.
But you've admitted that you're a liar, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been dishonest.
I really think that what happened with Dalia was she was really crying out for help, but in a very odd way. She did not know how to best extricate herself from that marriage.
I think that Dalia Dippolito's motivation was more the greed, money. I don't think that she was too concerned about his life. She saw it more of a game for her if he was dead.
Dippolito?
A convicted felon and a professional escort meet online, hook up, and get married. Quite the love story, right? Except in this case, the new wife, Dalia Dippolito, never stopped seeing her ex-boyfriends and tried to enlist both of them in a fatal plot to end her marriage. But one of those ex-boyfriends, Mohammed Shihadeh, got cold feet and instead became a confidential informant. But Dalia didn't know that Mohammed had flipped. She thought her plan to murder Mike had gone off without a hitch. She was wrong.
So Dalia's brought into the interrogation room, and she believes as the wife of a murdered victim.
First of all, let me just tell you,
I'm sorry for your loss.
I just want to see my husband, please.
All right, honey.
But they went and grabbed me in my disheveled look, put me in handcuffs, and walked me into the interview room where she was being held.
Did you look the defendant in the eye?
Yes.
Did she acknowledge if she knew you?
She said she didn't know me, she didn't recognize me, she's never seen me before.
Get over here. You know who this guy is?
No.
You've never seen him before?
I've never seen him before. Ever.
Come out here. You're going to jail today for solicitation of murder. You're under arrest. That's an undercover police officer.
I didn't do anything.
Did you hear what I just told you?
We told her that we had it on videotape, that we had phone conversations recorded, photos of her being with the undercover agent, and also the digital recording of her with the undercover agent where she wants him killed.
It's done. It's over with now. It's your opportunity to tell us the truth. Do you have anything to say about this?
I'm going to talk to my husband.
When you encountered Miss Dippolito and were interviewing her, what was her demeanor?
Total lack of emotion, pretty much. That's how I could sum it up.
Now, did you ever witness an actual tear come from Miss Dippolito during her interviews?
Not once. I mean, a couple of times she went through the motion of crying, but I didn't see any tears.
When we were interviewing her, she tried to influence, like, just by telling us, you guys are so nice to me, and I didn't do anything. And she was just playing that part, you know?
Listen to me for a second, okay?
I didn't do anything.
Listen to me for a second, okay? This is on our first day. Not only do we have your videotape, we have every conversation that you had leading to this point. So for you to sit here and deny that you haven't done anything, it's not gonna help.
During your investigation, did you find any evidence that this was a stunt for reality television between Mike Dippolito and the defendant?
No.
You're being arrested for soliciting to commit murder, and that's what you're getting charged with.
So this where you're going to jail?
You said that Mike Dippolito never mentioned anything to you about reality or a plot or YouTube or any of that stuff as far as this goes. Is that correct?
Yes.
He never told you that he was behind this idea in any way. Is that correct?
No, I didn't even find out about it.
You didn't even ask him about that, did you?
No, I just found out about it 3 weeks ago.
All right. If Mr. Dippolito was behind that, that would certainly be falsely reporting a crime, wouldn't it?
Yes, and I didn't find any evidence of that.
After the defendant was arrested, did she call you?
Yes.
Where did she call you from?
Jail.
Hey, it's me. Yeah, what's up? Nothing, Mike. Can you please come here?
Don't you understand what just happened?
What they're saying is not true.
How in the hell did I hear it and see it?
It's not true. I heard what you heard and I saw what you saw. Everything they showed you, they showed me.
Even though you were told not to talk to anybody or not to take any calls, you took that one, correct?
I had to take it.
You wanted to hear what she had to say, is that right?
Yes.
And at some point, you get a little upset with her and say, hey, what the you wanted to have me killed, is that right?
1 or 2 or 3 times I might have said that.
I heard what you heard.
Hey, what the you said you wanted to have me killed. I heard that.
It's not true. That is not
true. How is it not true?
Like, I didn't do anything.
I don't know what to say to you. I can't help you.
You're certainly a celebrity now, aren't you, Mr. Dippolito?
Objection, argumentative.
Stay. I don't have any other questions. I'll redirect.
Like, I love you. Don't do this to me. I'm sitting here. Everybody treated me awful, sir. I didn't do anything to you. You know me.
You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do for you? Seriously?
What?
You sign my house back over to me. I'll help you mom immensely.
I'm not signing anything.
I know you wouldn't sign anything. I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Sitting here rotting, you're thinking about...
Daddy, try having me killed.
That's not true.
Liar.
I mean, she just says when confronted with the video, when confronted with the evidence, I didn't do that. That's not what you saw. It wasn't me. I mean, just deny, like I have never seen. When you tell her not to say anything, why are you saying that to her?
She just keeps lying to me. You know, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. You know, it was someone that looked like me. It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Did she ever at any time say in the phone call to you that this was a reality show stunt and you need to come clean?
No.
I have no further questions.
And this reality thing didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. Isn't it true?
Objection, Your Honor. Beyond the scope.
How is it beyond the scope? It's the last question she asked you.
Overruled. What reality thing?
And this reality thing would have gotten your probation violated because of the way it went down. Is that correct?
What reality thing?
The reality, and this whole reality thing was actually orchestrated by you, wasn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I've been advised that the jury has reached a verdict.
State of Florida versus Dalia Dippolito. Verdict, we the jury find as follows.
Dalia Dippolito had been seen on surveillance video with her ex-lover, looking for a hitman to murder her husband, handing over a cash down payment and a picture. She'd been seen on surveillance video meeting with a hitman who was in truth an undercover police officer. She'd been heard on phone calls confirming the details that would result in her husband's death. Would the jury rely on hard evidence gathered by the police or be swayed by the defense argument that this was all just a reality stunt and Mike Dippolito had been in on the whole thing?
The TV show, the police department, they lost their senses of judgment. It was always about, hey, we got a good one. We got this hot chick that wants to kill this guy, and we are going to run with this within 72 hours and make the best television on TV.
Not to have an officer change your mind.
There's no changing. I'm positive, like 5,000% sure. Like, I was stressing when you guys told me you were going to come up here.
And we had the video of Dalia Dippolito confessing, saying that she was 5,000% sure she wanted Michael Dippolito killed. I mean, that's her own words. That's no one else's testimony. And that, to me, was the most powerful evidence.
Mr. Salnick, do you wish to present any other witnesses or exhibits?
Judge, the defense is going to rest.
All right. And Ms. Dippolito, let me ask you a couple questions real quick. You have the right to testify, or you can choose not to testify. Is it your decision not to testify?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Good. That's all I need to know. All right. State, any rebuttal?
No, you're wrong.
I think Mike Dippolito was the most compelling witness in the entire case. The jury connected with him, they felt sorry for him, and they believed him, and they cared about what happened to him.
Now, folks, you might not like Miss Dippolito. You might not like Mike Dippolito or Mohammed Shihada. But that's besides the point. You were told you can't render a verdict because you feel sorry for someone or because you're angry at someone. You'll have to look at the evidence. Dalia Dippolito is now appealing to your better judgment and asking you to let her wake up from this nightmare. We're asking you to return the only verdict possible based on the evidence that's been presented to you, and that's not guilty. Thank you.
I think it was a very difficult case for Michael Salnick because the entire crime is caught on video.
I'm a lot tougher than what I look. I know you think you're like, oh, what a cute little girl, whatever.
What do? You can't say it wasn't her.
Where's the evidence that this was a reality show? There's none. This isn't a stunt for reality television. This is murder. Cold-blooded, calculated, premeditated murder. Murder with a firearm, 2 shots to the head, in the home that Mike Dippolito purchased for them. There's no denying the evidence in this case. It's overwhelming. There's no denying the truth. She did it, and you know it.
When the case went to the jury, I felt confident in the evidence. I felt confident in the case that we had presented, but the defense that this was a stunt for reality television was so bizarre and so out there, it made me nervous.
Circuit Court's now in session. Judge Jeff Kovath presiding. I've been advised that the jury has reached a verdict.
State of Florida versus Dalia Dippolito. Verdict as to count 1. We find the defendant guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. Do you find that there is a firearm included in the solicitation? Yes. So say we all this 13th day of May, 2011.
So the verdict came back guilty, and I honestly don't think many people were shocked. The evidence was just Loctite.
I think she tried to do it just simply greed. She saw an opportunity to get rich, and she took the chance, thinking that she was going to be successful. And luckily for Mr. Dippolito, we were able to stop her before something terrible happened to him.
She didn't deserve probation. She didn't deserve any rehabilitation. She deserved punishment, and that was it.
And let me call up the case of the state of Florida versus Dalia Dippolito. And Ms. Dippolito's present. She's in custody. She's here with her attorneys, Mr. Salnick and Mr. Fuchs. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. I would call random Mohammed.
Do you promise that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right.
I'm here to please ask you to have some mercy on my daughter Dalia. In life, we make mistakes. Sometimes we all deserve a second chance. Your Honor, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, please, to have some mercy with her. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
To this day, I still believe that Dalia Dippolito is one of the most misunderstood women on the planet. I don't believe Dalia would have ever hired anybody to kill Mike Dippolito.
How do I rehabilitate you from what you have done? And I think that's a function of spinning your moral compass, and I hope that occurs as part of this sentence. And it was astonishing, the cold-blooded denial that you're willing to go to try to avoid the obvious. I'll adjudicate you guilty, and I'm sentencing you to 20 years in the Department of Corrections.
Dalia's case, to me, really wasn't about a search for the truth or achieving justice. It was more about the participants in the case advancing their own agendas.
I think justice was served because had the police not stepped in, I don't think anything was stopping her from going through with this plan.
Change your mind. There's no changing, there's no, the plan is already, I'm positive, 5,000% sure.
Even though we would have liked her to serve more years in prison, it's still justice.
If Dalia had ever changed during the course of these years, during the course of these prosecutions, she would have pled guilty. She would have acknowledged what she had done, and she would have accepted responsibility. Never once. It was always somebody else's fault.
Your reaction at all, Michael, to the sentence?
I'm just very glad this is all over. Like I said, I wish we were never here. And as far as the sentence, I'm 5,000% happy with it. That's all for now.
Dalia's lawyers appealed her conviction on the basis of a tainted jury pool, and they won. Her conviction was overturned in 2014. But the story would not end there. She was tried again in 2016, and this time the trial would end with a hung jury and a brand new baby. Dalia became a mother while under house arrest. But as they often say, third time was the charm for prosecutors. In 2017, they got their conviction and ended Dalia Dippolito's freedom. She's set to be released from prison in 2032. I'm Ashley Banfield. Thanks for watching.